most people will agree that when it comes to getting reliable stops, especially with a handgun, what you're aiming for is central nervous system. You're talking about brain and spinal cord. So having a target that not only allows you to be reactive by hitting somewhere along that central nervous system, but again giving you that 3D perspective and finding where that spine is at, regardless of the available or visible center mass, I think is a pretty good thing. So after years of training in this stuff, trying to find low-cost ways of achieving that, what I found are these balloons. These are the ones that you use to make the funny little animals. So what you do is you take one of these, blow it up, and what you want is something that is, again, going to be appropriate to the length of your box. Usually go a little bit short just in case it stretches when you hook it up. But this is going to give you now that spinal cord and essentially medulla oblongata shot. What you're looking for along the length of the spinal cord. Once you've got this inflated and tied off, what you want to do is check the length. You want to make sure that it goes about 3/4 the length of the box that you'll be using for your target, because it is going to stretch a little bit underweight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this end that's not inflated, we're going to feed that up through the bottom of the box. If you need to, you can reach up into the hole you have in center mass to make that a little bit easier. But we've also cut a smaller hole in the top of the box here to be able to feed this through. That allows us to feed it through that way. And this is the part that we're going to tie off to our string up here on the target stand. We want to tie it off pretty close. And one of the things you may be looking at this saying, wow, that's a lot of prep, that's a lot of work. This is one of the things you'd be doing during the week. While you're watching the best events, while you're watching TV, you're hanging out and you're prepping targets. So when you go to the range, you hit the ground running. Now the trick on this is, you're going to take the other end of this. Let me pull up the shirt here so you can see a little bit better. You're going to take the other end where you have the knot, and you want to clip this to the bottom. Here I'm just going to use a small spring steel clip. Wooden clothespin is even better, that way you don't have any metal introduced into the target. And that's clipped off right there. So now what you have is, this is really supporting the weight between the string and the bottom of the box. That represents the spinal cord running the entire length, so you have a head shot up here, you have the spinal cord shot all the way down, and it's completely three-dimensional. When you look at the diameter of that within the overall size of that box, the area of that box, it represents about the same size as what you'd have with your spine. So again, what we want to do, especially since we have the wind blowing here, we want to make sure that we use our wire to stabilize that. So we're going to poke that through a little bit, make sure we don't hit our spinal cord on the way. And now what we've got is something that really represents the idea of a human body and our critical central nervous system shots that we want to stop with. So when you think about going through this at any angle, what you're trying to hit is that central nervous system. Once you hit it, you get a drop. Let's see how that works. Okay, so now what we're looking at, again, we can angle this any way we want as far as what we have exposed for visible center mass. And what we're shooting for is that spinal cord. So when I take the shots, I'm purposely going to go wide a little bit at first to show that I can get chest hits without hitting the spinal cord. Okay, well, those hits to the chest don't look like they're actually penetrating the t-shirt and getting into the target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift up to a higher shot. Now in this case, what I've got to do is go for a more challenging target. Obviously this balloon is narrower, it's not as forgiving as the bigger balloon that we had that filled the entire head before, so again it challenges your skills a little bit more. Let's see what we get. Again, what you can see there is you've got to shoot to stop. How many shots is it going to take? Well, until you hit that critical anatomical target, you're not going to know. Now, seeing this with a BB gun is one thing. Actually doing this live fire with a real firearm, you're going to have, of course, larger hits or potent hits, something that's going to poke through that a little bit better.